We're back and live from Sunnyvale, California, right next to the Loft House.
with my fills.
With my fills, ready to go.
All right, well, let's start with a positive focus. What's something that you're either excited about or grateful for?
Definitely grateful for my friends and family. You know, it's great because most of them live in the same city as me, so their support system I'm definitely grateful for. What was the next one? Excited?
Excited about or grateful for, yeah.
Excited. These next couple months musically are gonna be kind of innovative, and I'm just kind of really excited to show what I've been working on, and it's all like really positive sounding, and it's a different approach on the sound that I've always been doing, this kind of proggy, good feeling, ambient trance sound, kind of pushed in a different direction. But I think it's going to go over pretty well. I'm pretty excited.
So tell us a little bit about your start, how you began to make music and what got you into that.
I've played keys since I was 5. I'm classically trained, so musically, there's definitely some sort of inclination that has come from when I was a child. But as I got older, when I went to college, I just bought 2 turntables used just to kind of start DJing as a hobby. I really wanted to. And producing more and more kind of on the side just for fun. And eventually that kind of translated into an actual career as the opportunities pose themselves. You know, you go and you hustle. And just kind of worked my way up, you know, from the basement of Pacha where I played at. The first time I ever went on was 4:45 in the morning, and there was no one there. Absolutely, it was packed upstairs, and then there's like 4 of my friends who paid $80 to get in to see me, just to come and support. And then, you know, just kind of after that, just kept showing what I was capable of, kept doing a good job. And eventually more opportunities were given to me, and I seized them and just kept working. You know, every day is going to be different. There's always going to be a different obstacle to overcome, and you'll never completely be satisfied, but you'll always kind of, if you're loving what you do, you'll always kind of force yourself, or not force yourself, it'll be easier to push yourself forward in a positive direction and kind of pulling your career in the direction you want it to go.
Yeah. And so how's the crowd at Pacha now? You know, a crowd of 4 versus...
Yeah, well, I just played there last weekend, and it was cool. It was a packed house. I played, you know, it's not in the basement anymore. I play on the main stage there. But I started playing there a long time ago on the main stage. It's where I got my start. Was opening for all these big DJs there, and then I got to know the right people, the right promoters, and as a DJ kind of made a name for myself. Then I had to make a name for myself musically, because no one's going to listen to you if you're just a DJ. You need to, you know, you want to be a musician, you have to make music. So now, I mean, it's great. The crowds there are fun. You know, definitely coming back there. I haven't played there in 2 years. Actually, it was humbling. It was like seeing where you came from. Like, I went down to the basement just to see what was going on there, and it's cool. It's, you know, that's where you came from. And always got to appreciate that. So.
And so, what's been the most challenging thing as far as being a producer or DJ so far, and the most rewarding thing?
I think the most challenging is finding yourself and your sound, because it's easy to listen to other people. Other people will tell you do this. Some other people will say this is the way to go. This is where the money is. This is how you're gonna make it. This is how this person did it. So you can look, and a lot of people, you can look at them for an example of how to make it. But so the most challenging is kind of setting your own standards and making your own path and doing it yourself in your own way. So that's definitely been the most challenging. The rewarding part of it is when you do that and it works, it's a great feeling.
And so of all the tracks you've done so far, would you say there's been 1 or 2 tracks that are especially meaningful to you or that you like?
Yeah, well, I think actually those are yet to come out. I think some of the tracks I finished recently, like this past month, are going to be my biggest tracks, and I think my whole team and everyone around me is most excited about what's coming than what's already been brought. So that to me is I think what the next months hold is more exciting. But I can't, of course, get rid of my past. Renegades was a huge success and kind of put me on the radar. So I'm very appreciative of that. I've had other tracks, like my releases that Maya and like on 03 and Saints that had all this DJ support from like Guetta and Hardwell and W&W, all these guys.
Yeah.
So I'll always remember, the stuff that kind of at that particular moment was most exciting. So I can't forget that or can't take anything away from it. So
yeah. And then as far as shows and places you've played at, is there one particular place or show that's on your bucket list to perform at?
Perform? I mean, there's definitely a bunch. I want to next year be a part of the festival circuit. The EDCs, the Tomorrowlands, the Tomorrow Worlds. Those are great. Even the more mainstream festivals, but it's hard for me to say. Is there one? I guess the first dance music event I've ever went to was Ultra.
Yeah.
It was literally the first thing I ever attended in dance.
Tell us
music.
about that experience.
Oh, it was incredible. I was young, naive. I had no idea what anything was, and it was great. I loved it. That's where I fell in love with dance music. Was being in the midst of that. I don't remember what year it was, but Avicii played on like a small, tiny stage. And I forget who the headliners were, but from that time, a lot of things have changed, but that's where I really kind of fell in love. So I would love to, I guess be there, play there. I also love Miami during that week. The vibe, all the DJs there, everyone's high-fiving each other, dapping each other up. So it's cool. It's definitely cool.
Yeah. And who would you say have been some of your bigger musical influences?
Musically, I definitely look up to some of the trance guys, but more or less, I think I really appreciate Zed as a musician. He's like one of those EDM artists that has not only crossovered, but crossovered in a way where his musicianship hasn't deteriorated. It's like pop formula is really easy in the sense of like it's very repetitive and it's very simplistic. And he was able to do that in a complex nature and like really like show he's like, hey, I'm a musician, but I'm gonna make a pop track while being a musician.
What about like collaborations? Who do you think you'd want to collaborate with in the near future?
Well, I have a collab with the Chainsmokers, which they've been playing everywhere. Tiesto's been playing everywhere, so we're pretty excited for that one. I would like to kind of collab with bigger names as time goes on, kind of those guys that inspired me. And I worked, that Eugene release that I had, Jenaux from Above and Beyond really guided us through the entire thing. He was telling us what chords to change, what chords to use, do this is great, change that hi-hat. So it's cool to kind of work with them on that, but it's obviously not the same thing as a collaboration. But, if one day that happens, that would be cool. Probably. I won't. I like to stay positive and optimistic, but maybe in like a few years. Yeah. It's pretty far off from now. But right now, really just excited for the solo work. I think there's a lot of cool things that are going to happen, so I'm just going to keep grinding and putting out all this music.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one of your really big fans, Ravina from Boston. She wanted to know, how was your collaboration with Jason Ross? Like, how did that go?
Jason and I have been really good friends for a while. We kind of started around the same time. We had all mutual friends, and we always bounced ideas off each other. And we just kind of, one day he sent me something. We always sent each other stuff back and forth. And I was like, he was that vocal top line. And I was like, that's freaking great. Let's work on this. And I sent something almost immediately back. He said, that's amazing. and we kind of just started going from there. The process was, honestly, if him and I got into a room together, it would have been a lot easier, but because it was so remote, we were always bouncing ideas back and forth. It was just constantly like, it was a lot harder than I expected, especially for this track. So it took a while. This track took like 8 months.
Yeah.
At one point, we like kind of lost faith in it. Then it was like revitalized. So it was definitely difficult to make, but it was a very rewarding process. And I think him and I are pretty stoked with how it released. You know, it did really well in the charts, so really excited.
Okay. And so out of all the places you've done, or all the shows you've done so far, which one would you say has been the most memorable performance or show?
Right back here, Bay Area. Last year, San Francisco at the Fillmore. Dude, that was the most legendary show I have ever played in my life. First of all, that venue is like one of the most legendary venues in the country. It's like where Janis Joplin was found. You know, everyone's played there. Led Zeppelin, Grateful Dead, Tom Petty. You know, there's like our posters hanging up next to Tom Petty. So the crowd was sold out. The crowd was amazing the second I went on, and I've played big shows. I played bigger shows.
Yeah.
That was like, it was like 1,500 people. You know, I played shows for 3,500, 5,000 people, more like 9,000 or whatever. But something about that, the intimacy, the crowd being so involved, that show was just unreal. Absolutely incredible. Maybe it's a Bay Area thing, so I'm stoked to be back.
So touching on that then, you know, you're from the East Coast and you've played a lot of shows there as well as the West Coast. How does that compare?
Sorry, East Coasters, but West Coast is a lot better.
West Side.
Don't worry, I won't cheat on you guys for too long. I'll be back.
And what would be your favorite track of all time?
If I had to pick one track of all
We'll give
time.
you like 2.
Damn, that's crazy. All right, I really like Robert Miles' Children. That's like, everybody knows that. It's a classic. And then if I had to pick another track, I don't know.
And so when you're making music, where do you take like your inspiration from, or where do you get your inspirations from?
It's always really different. Sometimes, you know, like I was just working on a track. I worked on it for 4 weeks. And sometimes, you know, tracks can happen in a day, sometimes months. I was working on this one for like 4 weeks. And every time, I made like 4 different versions. I just kept scrapping it every single time. I would love it at first, hate it after. Scrap. And then one day I was just working, and in 12 hours I finished it, and it sounded incredible, and it still sounds incredible, and I was so excited, but it just happened like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard to gauge where that inspiration came from, but sometimes when things feel right and the flow is right, the mentality is right, everything kind of just moves in the right direction. All the puzzle pieces come together.
And what kind of feeling would you say you want your listeners to feel when listening to your music?
I want them to have goosebumps, you know, those the breakdowns where it's just like chords and pads and everything kind of starts to build gradually. I want people to really be immersed in it and involved in the music and kind of be relaxed by it. So I think that to me is most important, like a chill step type of vibe.
Yeah. And so obviously, you know, EDM has definitely blown up, right, over the recent years.
Yeah.
One of your fans, Cindy from Livermore, wanted to see what your take was on EDM and where it's headed.
Oh, okay. This is a great question. Everyone likes to say that the bubble's going to burst, people are going to disappear, music's going to go somewhere else. I think the complete polar opposite. I think, you know, EDM is becoming more of a commercial success, but it's not even close to where it's going to go. Like, you look at the Billboard Hot 100, which is, you know, it's not just the dance charts, it's everything. There are 2 weeks ago, there were 3 dance tracks in there. 2 were DJ Snake and 1 was Zed. Okay, so that doesn't stand for a lot musically, you know, when there's hundreds and thousands of tracks that define the community and kind of dance music in itself, when 3 are in the commercial light. So I think it's still going to keep moving forward. I think people are going to start getting more familiar with names, and I do think it's going to evolve a lot.
Tell us a little bit more about the Renegades collaboration.
It was cool. You know, I was in the studio one night writing those chords, wrote those chords, put them into some synths and sent them to a friend who was working with Pia. He showed it to her, she really liked it. They sent me something back within like an hour.
Yeah.
A really rough sketch, and it was great. And we just finished it up within like 2 weeks, and then it took 8 months to release. But yeah, and that was it. And then, you know, Pia's great. She's been really supportive, really helpful. It's been great to work with her. We're playing together in August, at the end of August in Connecticut. So she's definitely been a huge part of my career.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate her and respect her for being a part of it.
Do you plan on having a lot more tracks coming up with more vocals in the near future?
Yeah, I think all my tracks are with vocals now. Everything I'm working on is like very vocal based. I think I'm moving away from instrumentals and just a lot of. I want musicianship in my music. I want people to be singing the lyrics. You know, I want there to be a message in the music, and I want the tracks to kind of evolve more, taking more of on a journey. Like maybe they might not be suitable for a club or. You know, maybe not even for radio, but when you listen to them, you know, you'll plug your headphones in and listen, it'll be more of a kind of a journey where you go through the lyrics, the song builds, the tension rises, the release occurs, and it's going to be more of a kind of a roller coaster than just a fluid track that's predictable. So.
Yeah. And what do you feel like is something the world can use a little bit more of?
Less animosity. Everyone likes to hate on each other. Everybody likes to hate on new music. No artists can't even, you know, they can't make new music because their old fans will hate them for it, and it kind of sucks. I think I wish people were more receptive to things, or less judgmental of people's past. You know, some artists might make a one-hit wonder that they didn't mean for it to become a one-hit wonder, and then they become known for it and they can't get out of it, and then they gradually get out of it. But people in the beginning aren't as receptive to their new music because they don't think that's them. So I think if people were more receptive and less inclined to be angry at each other, I think it'd make for a better place.
Yeah. And what piece of advice do you have for an aspiring producer that's out there right now?
Hey, just work hard, you know. I mean, those acts that you think are made overnight are made over years. You know, overnight success is years in the making. So don't think that if it doesn't happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen at all. You just got to focus and grind and keep working and take feedback openly. I was always really receptive to criticism. You know, I loved when people gave me harsh criticism. That was, to me, better than if someone just told me my track was great, because I would hate that. I want to improve upon it. So for a little bit, you know, there was like a year in my life when Laid Back Luke found me and was my mentor, and he was the best about it. And he said exactly what I needed to hear, and that kind of helped me move forward. But if I was so closed-minded and wasn't open to that feedback, I would have never kind of propelled forward. So I think, yeah, the younger producers just need to have that mentality of working hard and being open to criticism of their work.
Okay. 2 more questions before we have a word for your fans.
Okay,
so one
cool.
of them is, if you can only keep 1 sense, what would that be?
1 sense?
Yeah.
Damn.
Usually people are like, you could take out, but no, we can only keep.
Oh man, you're killing me. So I'm a foodie, so I can't get rid of taste. I make music for a living, so I can't get rid of hearing or see. I like to see. I'm a very visual person. How do I DJ if I can't see? I don't even know what tracks I'm picking.
Okay, I'll throw 1 in. 2.
Okay, 2. I guess I'd have to pick like hearing and seeing. So yeah, plus I figured if I get rid of 4, my hearing will become exceptionally good and I'll become an incredible producer.
What is one hidden talent that most people don't know about?
Me?
Yes.
So I have a few hidden talents. I used to be a dancer. A lot of people don't know that about me. I used to dance.
Are you going to show us later after this?
We'll think about it. I'll think about it. I haven't really practiced my dance moves. I haven't prepared any routine.
Yeah, you posted on Instagram, so you can.
Well,
do
that
your
one took a
own.
lot of preparation, actually. Apparently, it was not the right whip. Yeah, so I used to be a dancer, and kind of where a lot of my rhythm comes from. So
Okay, what's another one?
I make a mean pad thai. What else do I make? A really good steak. I'm a big steak enthusiast. Red
How do you
meat.
like your steak?
Rare.
Rare, just
It's
rare.
gotta be rare.
Okay.
You know, the more you cook a steak, the worse it is for you, actually.
I like my medium rare.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But like when you cook a steak well done, it's actually worse for you than if it was rare. Just a fun fact that I learned recently from a steak connoisseur.
Okay, and so anything you have to say for all your fans listening out there, and also what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
I mean, if you want to get a hold of me, just reach out. You know, my email's online. I'm always on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. So like, if you ever want to get a hold of me, just reach out. Don't be afraid to ask. A lot of people reach out to me, and I'm pretty open. I'm pretty responsive to everybody, unless you're just like, you add me and you're just like, hey, listen to my mix. It's like 3 hours long. Dude, I'm not going to listen to your 3 hour long mix. Send me an original track. We'll happily listen to it, happily give you feedback, all that stuff. And yeah, and you know what? To all the fans out there, I really, really appreciate all of you guys. You guys have been so supportive this past year, especially these past 6 months. You know, my career has completely changed and life's been really great. So I have a lot more music coming out. Just be patient with me a little bit longer. I promise it's going to be the best I have to offer. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
All right, everyone. Once again, it's Jenaux. We're really excited to see him play at Pure Lounge at Sunnyvale today, and we're going to see him do a little dance for us.
Are we? Really?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I gotta practice.
We're gonna do it. You can play it.
I've learned to officially whip, I think. That's it.
Are your friends gonna be happy about that one?
I hope so. They better be. They better be happy about that. He's making me do it at like 3 a.m.
Something in your eyes is blazing. It's brighter than the moonlight. Only we know what we're chasing. Addicted to the good fight. And they can't